How did I ever get into my obsession with books, which is, of course, back in my generation, my identification with libraries? Well, there were two events in my life, and one was at a very young age. My mother was an immigrant to this country from Lithuania, brought here at the age of 2, and I grew up in East St. Louis, Illinois, with a lot of other Lithuanian families. My mom never finished the 8th grade. My dad didn't either, but in those days, if you're willing to work hard, you could still do pretty well. And so they raised a family of 3. We did just fine. I enjoyed every bit of it. But my mother, despite her formal education, was a very intelligent and curious woman. And I thought all kids were packed up in the car and driven across Eads Bridge into St. Louis to go to the art museum regularly, which we did. My mom, with no training or education in art, would tell me little stories about paintings and her observations about the rest of it. I thought every kid did that. Turns out they didn't. But one of the biggest adventures was the trip to the East St. Louis Public Library, starting at the earliest possible age, and parking myself in the basement where the kids' books were while she roamed around upstairs to check out some books. And the basic rule was I could only check out as many books as I could carry. So as I got older, I was able to carry more, and as soon as I finished them, we went back. So that was my introduction to libraries and books, and it was an extremely positive introduction. My office is on the 3rd floor of the United States Capitol. It was a section of the Capitol built about the time of the Civil War when they were completing the dome. And on the 2nd floor of the Capitol, across from the entrance to the old Senate chamber, is a door that leads now to the Senate Republican leaders' offices. It is a nondescript looking door, except for a faded bronze plaque, which you can still read. It explains that in 1814, when the British sacked the Capitol, this is where the fire was started. What was behind those doors? The original Library of Congress. It's an effort to crush the government of our new nation. The British started with the library. The reason they would want to burn the Library of Congress is because it was the repository of knowledge, Thomas Jefferson's collection. And it had allowed a group of British colonists a few years before to imagine and create an entirely new form of government, a government with no king. Fast forward to today. Every once in a while you hear somebody say, well, why do we still need libraries? Everybody has a computer. We carry them around in our pockets. We can Google any question and be the smartest person in the room in an instant with the answer. Well, number one, not everyone has a computer. There's still a digital divide in America. And that's one reason we need libraries, to close that divide. 2, libraries have something the internet doesn't, something invaluable. It's called librarians, the original search engines. Number 3, libraries in this day and age are much more than book depositories. They're classrooms where people go to learn. And for many people, libraries are the on-ramp to the information superhighway. They don't have internet services at home, or not very good ones, so they come to the library, use the computers. Libraries are an essential link to government services, and libraries are places today where people can learn and even discuss important issues. They are the safeguards of opportunity in our country. Income inequality is greater than ever, but libraries are the great leveler. Anyone can walk through the door and have access to the same level of information.